Okay, I'm Martin Rowe. I'm an artist. I do photography at art fairs. I also do paintings for galleries and commissions. What else do I do? That's basically it. I also do it with my wife. So we work together on a lot of things. We work together on the photography all the time, but we also work together on some of the paintings. We did a series of paintings on book covers, and we were graphic designers, so that's kind of lent itself to working together, which is kind of an interesting process, because she'll do something and I'll go, well, I think I might have to paint over that a little bit, and she'll do the same with me. We worked together before. We were both lecturers at university, and we used to teach together and have an office together. So we've always worked very closely, and then being a graphic designer, part of the process you often hand over to somebody else or ask for input. So it wasn't like it was anything new to us. It's new because you're physically working on a painting, but Deb's better at some things than I am, so she did those bits and I'm better at other things. I tend to do those bits. It's pretty easy. Yeah, I mean, we've been doing art fairs for about 10 years, and when we started off, we didn't sell anything. We tried a number of different things. Deb was making jewellery, we were doing hand-coloured photographs, and then we did some other 3D stuff. And it wasn't until we started doing the photography that we actually started selling things. I mean, we sold the odd thing before that, but just knowing the market, trying to produce something at a cost that would actually you could sell it and still make a profit, was hard. We started doing photography and it wasn't really working. Then I did a piece with a barn with a cow on the roof, because I wanted people to stop and look at the work. It was just like, then they'll come in and they'll buy the other stuff. They didn't buy the other stuff, they brought the cow on the roof. So then I started doing more whimsical work, and they stop and buy it now, which is great. But I think, it's a long process. It's getting the work that people want. It's getting the setup right in your tent, what you bring with you, what you leave behind. It's a learning process. It really is a learning process. They're kind of interesting because our work has little things hidden in it, and so they'll often be looking at it, and then it is a physical surprise and a smile and a laugh. So yeah, there's a physical element to it. You can actually see people, and they're looking at it, and you can see they're thinking. All of a sudden, it hits them. And we've actually had people buy pieces of work that haven't seen the humour in it. They've taken it home, and they've actually emailed us afterwards and said, "There's an elephant in the barn, I didn't see it." So some of them are quite subtle. But it's actually physically seeing someone laugh at the work, being amused by it. And some of the pieces, are 4 or 5 years old or more, and I still enjoy them. They still make me smile. So that's part of the fun of doing art fairs, is actually the interaction, with people coming in. One of the things we did consciously with art fairs is make the work transportable. We started off with work with, frames with acrylic, and the acrylic would scratch, so you have to replace it. So what we do now is we've got work that's varnished, so it doesn't get damaged, but it's protected and it's inside a frame, and that seems to last and work pretty well. So we get a lot less wastage. We found frames that tend not to wear, because take frames in and out of packaging all the time. The corners get buffed or something, and you want to kind of look after that. But yeah, if you find your own process for whatever it is you're selling, you'll find a process. And transportation is critical. What you have and what you carry it in is kind of critical, how you package it. so it's easy to unpack, easy to put away afterwards. When we started, it was taking us over 2 hours to pack up, put everything in the car, and now we do it in 45 minutes. Partly because you get better at the process, but also our system is a lot better. So it's something you need to think about. Yeah, and I think that's something everybody develops, is their way of greeting people. I think it's important to say hi to people when they come in if you can. Some people don't want to come in the booth, they're intimidated if you're too close to them. So you kind of stand back a little bit and let them come in. But making some sort of contact with them, I think, is a good starting point. And a lot of people just depends, you start to know when people are interested in the work, and others that are just, going through and just looking. And that's fine. I mean, that's what they're there for. I mean, it's partly entertainment, an art fair for a lot of people, and for a lot of people it's a place to buy some well-priced art. I mean, the good thing about it is there's no gallery taking a 50% fee. There are a lot of costs. Doing an art fair, you're paying for the jury fee, which is around $40, pay for the booth fee, which is anything from, a small art fair is probably $100, but most art fairs are $300 or $400 to do an art fair. You have to travel, pay for your food. If you're travelling a long way, you need hotels. So, some art fairs need to make $1,000 before you make $1. So, it's not easy, and it's physically hard work. You're standing in a booth for 8 hours, a couple of days in a row. The weather may be horrific, whether it's hot or cold or windy, it affects the art fair. Do research first. It depends what your medium is, it's photography, ceramics, whatever. Different art fairs have different clients. Some buy more functional stuff. Ceramics, where you can drink out of a cup, will sell, whereas a piece of fine art may not sell there. So go to the art fairs, talk to people, see what's selling, see what people are carrying around. If you want to test it out, see if you can borrow someone's tent, a couple of tables, and just get started. It'll just give you a feel for it. If you're really serious about it, there's lots of things you need to consider. You need to consider your tent that's going to survive when the wind blows, give you some shelter when it's 100 degrees. There are sort of pop-up tents which, as soon as it gets windy, will rattle like mad, and when it rains and it's windy, they'll probably collapse. So you want something that's strong enough so your work doesn't get damaged. Then you've got to display it. We started off very simply with some tables and a few hanging things, but then we quickly realised how your booth looks is a reflection of your professionalism. So we ended up buying pro panels, which are panels that sit around the edge where you can hang your work on it. What else? You may think about lighting for some art fairs as well, particularly if they're indoor.
When people see your work, what do you hope they take away?
A piece of it. I love it when they take a piece away. What do I like them to take away? I want them to take away a sense of joy. We have a lot of the work has a sense of joy in it, and I want them to see that. And the humour in the photography, definitely. I want them to look at the landscape, look at everything with that sort of whimsy. I think if they can see that, that's part of the fun. Yeah.
Is there anything else that you want to cover that I didn't cover?
Oh, is there? I've got a list. Hang on.
Yes!
Is there anything? Glasses. Talking about the application process. Yeah, I think that the application process for art fairs is kind of interesting because we know a lot of people that actually have separate work that they design for the application for the juries. Juries want you to be fine arty, and the public wants you to be whatever they want, and it's not necessarily fine art in the same way as the jury perceives it. So you tend to kind of have a couple of pieces that are particularly aimed at the jury, which I think is an important thing if you want to get into the art fairs. Oh yeah, the other thing is actually the physical part of selling the work. You want to make it as easy as possible. Credit cards, easily packed or carried, or delivering it to them so they don't have to carry it around depending on what it is. So I think that's kind of like a useful thing to know. Yeah, being prepared for the weather. I mean, it does horrible things and it will kill an art fair. And I think if you're out in it, just be prepared. And then lastly, probably is just connecting with people that come in. Whatever it is, it can be just a couple of words or it can be a long conversation, but I think the more you can connect with them, the better your practice becomes about talking about your art and enjoying the whole thing. Yeah. And that's it.
Cool. Thank you.
It was a pleasure.
What is whimsy to you?
Oh, it's a light-hearted vision of the world. Yeah. I think it's easy to look at the dark side, and it takes a lot of work to create whimsy. But when it works, everybody enjoys it. Yeah. So that's the important thing, enjoying it.